Why do jurors ignore facts for emotional appeals in court? Imagine sitting in a courtroom, hearing a story that makes your heart race or your eyes fill with tears. You might think facts are the main players here, but emotions often take the spotlight. Why is that? Well, human decision-making isn't just about cold facts and logical reasoning. It involves feelings, empathy, and sometimes even instinct. Jurors are told to focus on the evidence and stick to the preponderance of evidence standard, which means they should believe one side is more likely true than not. But in reality, emotions can influence how they interpret that evidence. When a lawyer or witness appeals to feelings, it can trigger reactions like sympathy or anger that sway their judgment. For example, if a victim's story is told with emotional intensity, jurors might feel more connected and inclined to believe the story, even if the facts are ambiguous. People are naturally wired to use emotions as shortcuts when judging truthfulness. If a witness appears sincere or if an attorney's tone evokes trust, jurors might see that as a sign of honesty. Conversely, if they feel anger or disgust toward a defendant, they may be more likely to find them guilty, regardless of the actual evidence. This is because emotional responses are deeply linked to how we process information, often unconsciously. Legal instructions try to remind jurors to ignore bias and stick to the facts. But psychological research shows that feelings and cognition are intertwined. Emotions can influence what we notice, how we remember details, and how we weigh different pieces of evidence. When evidence is complex or confusing, jurors might rely more heavily on emotional cues to make sense of it all. Lawyers know this well. They craft their stories to be emotionally compelling because they understand that jurors are feeling-thinking beings. A story that resonates emotionally sticks in the mind longer and feels more convincing. This is why emotional appeals are a common strategy in courtrooms. They make the case memorable and relatable. In the end, the reason jurors sometimes ignore facts for emotional appeals is rooted in human nature. Emotions are a natural part of how we judge and decide. Even in a setting that aims for impartiality, feelings can shape perceptions and influence verdicts. Recognizing this helps explain why the balance between facts and feelings is often tilted in court.